Welcome back to Living Local. When you think Lexus, you probably think luxury vehicles. And that's exactly what you're going to find here at Lujack Lexus in Davenport. But the dealership does a lot more than help car buyers find a perfect ride. In fact, it's been heavily involved in our community for many years. Today, I'm joined by Todd Hopkins. He is the general manager here at Lujack Lexus of the Quad Cities. Todd, thanks so much for letting us stop by.
Oh, thank you very much. We're glad to have you out here today.
So, Todd, Lujack's has been in the Quad Cities a long time and actually has a really interesting history. So, can you tell us a little bit about how the dealership got started?
Yeah, the dealership actually got started. Frank Shabrock, who's actually John Lujack's father-in-law. John Lujack, Heisman Trophy winner from Notre Dame, 1947, so actually still lives here in the Quad Cities, but the oldest living Heisman Trophy winner alive right now. But his father-in-law, Frank Shabrock, and him started the Chevrolet dealership in 1957, and I think they moved out here to the Quad Cities up where they're at right now in 1967, and you know, been moving on ever since. So.
What a neat story. And obviously the dealership has expanded over the years, of course. So how long has Lujack's been associated with Lexus and how did that come about?
Well, Lexus actually started as a company in 1989. The 1990 model LS was the first car they had out. And we were the second wave of dealers. So we opened up in 1991 actually. And actually I was one of the first employees hired here, believe it or not. So in July of 91 we started here when right now there's 248 Lexus dealers. At that time there was 145, I believe. So it's been fun watching the company grow, and I said maybe not there from the birth, but have watched the first steps of Lexus as a brand too. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, what an experience to watch this company expand and be a part of that. So Todd, John Deere Classic Week is here. So Lujack Lexus has actually been a tournament sponsor volunteer since 2012. So what does that partnership look like, and why is that a good fit for you guys?
Well, for us, originally we started with the volunteer sponsorship just because that's what really makes the tournament what it is. They've got I think 2,100 and some volunteers this year that come out to help make the John Deere Classic special. And as a volunteer sponsor, what we do is have a party for them. This year it's July 1st, I believe, is when the party was, and then every year after that, while we have a tent on the 18th hole, so they can come in, get cooled off a little bit, air conditioned after working out in the July heat, as we know, can be a little warm. So it's been fun, and so we've been started originally with that, and then about 6 years ago we became the official vehicle sponsor, and real excited to be part of that as well. So.
Wow, more than 2,000 volunteers, and that's great that you guys are giving them a party just to, I guess, help them out and make sure that they know that they're appreciated. And actually, Todd, since 1971, the John Deere Classic has delivered more than $90 million to regional charities, and most of that is through its innovative Birdies for Charity program. So you guys actually do support that program. So what is your involvement with that?
Well, with the Birdies for Charity, you know, a lot of people know, I mean, raise a ton of money for the community. Last year it was $13.4 million. And if you look like as a comparison, they just had the Travelers a couple weeks ago, and they're all excited. They finally got to $2 million in charity giving, and here we are in the Quad Cities getting about $13.4 million. You look at it compared to the Waste Management Open in Scottsdale, Arizona, which they have 75,000 people a day at, which is crazy. They did 13.2. So what we do here in the Quad Cities is pretty impressive, I think. And we've been, Platinum T donor and a big part of that to help raise money for the bonus fund, which a lot of people don't realize. The 540 some charities that are supported, we get a match from anywhere from 5 to 10%, and they raise money for the bonus fund. Depending on how much money we raise in that bonus fund, that's what actually helps provide that match. So it's a pretty good program.
Yeah, it's a great thing to be a part of. It's so significant, the amount of money that we're able to collectively raise as a community.
It's actually #1 per capita on the PGA Tour. It's usually the most engaged tournament. So it's a John Deere Classic for the Quad Cities, and all the volunteers and residents do a great job of supporting it. So
something to be very proud of.
Yes, it is.
Todd, in addition to Birdies for Charities and being the sponsor volunteer, you guys also make sure that all the PGA pros are riding around in style here when they're visiting the Quad Cities. So tell us about how you guys help make that happen.
Yeah, that was so we had met with Claire, and we ended up getting the vehicles, official vehicle sponsors. So we have 210 Lexus vehicles that they have been bringing in over the last month or so that they pick up and take out to the tournament, and all the pros come in. They'll be driving those all week long. Provide 7 trucks from our Toyota store, and then we'll have another 13 on display. So it's a pretty big production when they start looking at everything that happens, but it's fun. The pros really like it from what they're saying. So.
Now, people here in the Quad Cities can actually score some pretty good deals on the vehicles that these PGA Tour pros will be riding after the tournament. So how can they take advantage of that?
Well, the thing is, they can take advantage now. I mean, even though the tournament's not over yet, but when they get done, those cars will all be back here afterwards. We'll keep probably about 40 to 45 of them here, and the rest will go to other dealers in the Midwest. But also, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales event going on right now. So they've got programs with a 0% rate on some of the programs. You can lease a car like this for about $329 a month on the ES350. So all those programs on top of the additional savings you get for a car that was lightly driven by a professional PGA pro, and maybe for, you know, couple hundred miles on that, and they're great cars. It's a great deal.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Todd, this is not the only thing that Lujack Lexus is involved with. John Deere Classic, obviously, you guys are very heavily involved, but there are other things that you're doing to give back to our community. What are some of those things?
Yeah, they've always been, you know, with Lujack, and that's one of the companies why I really like being part of it, is they've always been very involved in the community and giving back. You know, we do a lot with, you know, March of Dimes, for instance, and have donated every year at the Signature Chef Auction, participate in that. Actually was lucky enough to actually chair that one year, and a great event. You know, we do things with Big Brothers Big Sisters, the Boys and Girls Clubs, Make-A-Wish, Honor Flight. There's just a lot of charities we give back to all the time, and a lot of fun. We've actually got an event the end of July with Genesis that's part of the Lexus Champions for Charity event. That's a Pathway to Pebble, and you have an opportunity to actually play your way in to a trip to Pebble Beach, California, where they just had the U.S. Open. You play Pebble Beach, Spyglass, and the Spanish Bay, all expenses paid, and have a chance to win some money for local charities. So great time.
Definitely. Todd, why do you think it's so important for Lujacks to be involved in these community efforts?
Well, because I think it makes the community stronger. And the stronger we can make the community, you know, and make for our fellow Quad citizens and get people to come here and buy cars, you know, the community's better, they'll make more money, they'll want to buy more cars, and it makes it better for everybody. So the, you know, really, you know, growing up in the Quad Cities, I went to Davenport Central here, it's just great to have the amount of support that this big small town has. So.
Definitely. Todd, thanks so much for letting us stop by.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Thank
Absolutely.
You, Yep.
If you guys would like some more information, you can visit LujackLexusQuadCities.com. More Living Local rolls on right after this.